Okay, so here we are. Now I've finished all of the other two rungs, and I've done everything with the 60 so far. And I've got a 220 sandpaper in here now. I mean, you could do it with 180, but you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out. And you can see the difference that the 220 makes beside the 60. I mean, you can feel the difference. So here's the complete first pass of 220 sanding, and I'm definitely going to do it again because it's just going to give it an even richer finish. Now remember, when you do the top, if you've got a burnished brand in there, don't run your sandpaper over that, or you'll lose it. Look at that. That's even nicer than what we had yesterday. So I'm not a big fan of Black & Decker, particularly their battery operated tools, but this is a power, line operated. And it's got this pretty cool little finger that you can attach onto the end, and you can see what kind of a job it's doing near these barrel rings. So now we're going to move on to the staining phase. And I want to point out a couple things. Number one is, after I washed the sawdust off of that final 220 sand, some of this black appeared. So I sanded down again and left the sawdust in there, except I brushed it off, but I didn't wipe it down with water. And then I applied 4 different sample stains. Now I'm doing this because in these 2 rings I'm going to apply some beer can labels for some color. So I'm able to stain this section with some test samples. And I used a golden pecan, golden oak, a natural, and a darker one that's called a honey. This is the honey. This is the natural. And you can see the difference between sanded and brushed, sanded and washed. So if that's the color I'm looking for, then I'm not going to wash the barrel with water beforehand. This is the same for the golden oak stain. This is the golden oak. The grain pattern is completely different because the golden oak pulls out more of the grain. But this is what it looks like sanded and dusted. And then this is a new color for me. This is the golden pecan. And I like that. It's got a little bit of red in it. These 2 samples are identical, both sanded down. So this is the color that I think I'm going to go with, but I'm going to resand this whole barrel down, and I'm just going to lightly dust it. And next I'm going to show you the difference between these 2. And I'm sanding with this 60 grit, and I'm using the diamond-shaped bit at the end. So just a few very light passes. And now you see the difference between here and here. And it's going to make a big difference when I do this panel. These 2 have been done. And now on to the fun part. And this is where we're going to apply our golden pecan, which you can see has a definite red tinge to it. And to do this, I'm not going to use a brush. I'm going to use a white section of a white face cloth, cotton rag. And I'm just going to spread it out here very lightly. And then I'm going to rub in. Get it over here with some light. And rubbing in is the secret. You brush it on, you're not getting it into the grooves. And you can control the depth of your stain by the amount of rubbing. So let's just do these 3 staves right here. And then let's take a clean portion and rub off the excess. And you can see that rich grain that's come out, and it's going